morning, everybody. I hope everybody is doing well on today. We are continuing our series on the anime Bleach with our character analysis, and today we are doing Captain, or the former Captain of Squad 4, Retsu Unohana. Now, before we get into that, if you guys are new to the channel, thank you guys for coming out as well as spending time with me, and make sure if you haven't subscribed to my channel, please do so, as well as give this video a thumbs up because it does help the channel out a lot. And make sure that you guys hit that notification bell so that when I post content just like this every week, you guys will be up to date. So who exactly is Retsu Unohana? Well, she is the former captain of Squad 4, and her backstory is quite an interesting one because we find out almost everything about her towards the 1,000-Year Blood War arc. Now, when we are first introduced to Unohana, it is basically, I believe, episode 24, as well as chapter 81 of the anime, that I believe, and I could be wrong, but she doesn't say anything. She is basically just standing in line with the other captains, because this is basically during the Soul Society arc where Ichigo and everybody are coming to rescue Rukia. So during the captain's meeting, she doesn't say anything. She's just standing there until she's dismissed. But she, throughout all the arcs, which I do find her underrated, like a lot. She is one of my favorite captains. I actually have three, and so Retsu is on, the top three. But there's a mystery to her, and so when we first are introduced to her, appearance wise, she is, this, I would say she seems kind of timid a little bit, but she has long, like very, very long black hair that she always keeps in a braid to the front, covering her neck. And so of course she's in her standard Shinigami uniform with her captain's jacket. Now, with her Zanpakuto, like everybody else that keeps their Zanpakuto stored in their sash, she actually has hers on like a kind of like a string or a rope that she always holds on her shoulder. And so during the Soul Society arc, she doesn't really do much of anything, except for, because she's captain of Squad 4, which is the healing department. So she's a master at Keto, a master at healing arts, and so her role is to basically do just that, heal the injured. And so when it comes to the Soul Society arc, she, after Aizen was supposedly killed, she took his body, did the autopsy, but she realized something was off. Something just wasn't right. And so she started putting two and two together. So she got her Lieutenant Isane to basically come with her to Central 46. And so now Central 46 is the headquarters where there are actually 46 gentlemen who basically they run everything in the Soul Society. Like, once they make a decision, then not even head captain Yamamoto can overthrow that decision. So that's when we find out that Aizen basically killed all of Central 46 and had basically was making announcements and decisions posing as them. And so of course, not getting into Aizen, well, Gin Lord Momo, who was Aizen's lieutenant, into Central 46, Aizen revealed himself. basically, stabbed her, almost left her for dead. Toshiro Hitsugaya winds up finding exactly where they were, what's going on, and so he basically got one-shotted by Aizen, and then that's when Unohana had came and realized what all was going on. And so after that, of course, everybody banded together, stopped fighting themselves individually. But once Aizen made his departure with Tosen and Gin from the Soul Society, then all the injured people, Isane as well as Unohana was getting their squad to basically heal the injured, all of that. Now, when it comes to the Fate Korokoro Town arc, or the Arrancar arc all in general, she again doesn't really have a major role to play. And so now, going back into my my theory when it came to Gin and Yamamoto, about Gin basically, letting the other captains or even just Yamamoto know what Aizen is doing. Unohana was one of the captains that went to Hueco Mundo, to help heal the injured. And so she winds up taking Ichigo and going back through the Gargantua so that they can make it to the Fate Korokoro Town. Well, she of course had a little minor discussion with Ichigo, which was a very me personally, it was a very interesting one, because we never saw the two of them actually interact with each other until now. And so she realized that now, fun fact for all of you that either don't know or missed this minor tidbit of pivotal information, the black coat that Ichigo wears in his Bankai of Tensa Zangetsu, his black coat is actually a representation of his spiritual pressure. So whenever you see Ichigo fight and his coat basically kind of tears off, stuff like that, that's his spiritual pressure basically kind of dwindling down a little bit. So Unohana talked to Ichigo about it, but Unohana has a presence, and I don't mean that physically. Like, you can be physically there in a room with her and know that she's there and see the quiet, loving, caring, nurturing, mother-like captain, but then you also get this ominous feeling of there's something deeper with her. And she always gives that impression whenever she's around somebody. And so a lot of people are actually afraid of her. And so after Ichigo as well as Unohana wind up going back to Fate Korokoro Town, she goes to assist with helping, all the other fallen captains, lieutenants, as well as the visors. And so she had a slight conversation with Shinji Hirako and basically called him an ally. And now the thing is, come to find out that Unohana is one of the top 4 captains, and I'll get into that in a second. And I said that to say that if Unohana says or claims that you are an ally or an enemy, you are just that. So for her to recognize Shinji as well as all the other advisors and know that they are allies and call that out, then that was something very very, I don't want to say profound or interesting, but it was something nice and whatnot. And so now the issue that I do or did have with Unohana during the Fate Korokoro Town was that she allowed Aizen to go to the real Korokoro Town. Now, come to find out, she is a very formidable fighter. We find out in the Thousand Year Blood War arc that she is basically one of the first captains over, I'll say, between 110 to 200 years ago, right? Now, the thing is, what we find out about Unohana is that her name is Retsu Unohana, but her real name is Yachiru Unohana. Now, you guys should be familiar with the fact that Kenpachi Zaraki's lieutenant name is Yachiru. So many years ago, when Kenpachi was a child, I'll say maybe like 10 years ago. Not 10 years ago, I'm sorry. Well, around the age of 10. Kenpachi, wind up slaughtering a lot of Soul Reapers, and basically took one of the Sea Soul Reapers, Zanpakuto, poured his spiritual pressure into it, and that's when, he got his Zanpakuto. Well, Unohana, come to find out, or Yachiru, was the very first Kenpachi. Now, the thing is, with the name of Kenpachi, it is a title given to the most strongest fighter in the Soul Society. And it's one of those type of titles that you hold until somebody a whole lot stronger than you comes and basically challenges you. And of course, it's a fight to the death. So once you die, then the person that took your life gains the title of Kenpachi. Well, Kenpachi, or Zaraki at the time, basically gave Unohana a very, very deep scar on her collarbone. And so that's why she wears her hair in that braid to the front, because it reminds her of who she used to be. Now, the thing is, when she first became captain, she was captain of the 11th Division. But then Yamamoto bumped her up to the 4th Division, and she was actually one of, like I said, the first captains, but she was basically a thug like everybody else. And so she took on the name of Retsu, not only because Zaraki named his lieutenant Yachiru basically in honor of her, but she took on a new name so that she can leave her past behind. And she has basically become very humble, and this is why she's one of my favorite captains, because she has a very, very dark past, and she basically realized the error of her ways, everything that she has done, everything that she has a lot of regrets. And so she took on another persona and became a very quiet woman, very timid, as well as a loving, caring, nurturing, motherly figure to the 4th Squad. And so now we begin then to see the real Yachiru, because after Yamamoto was killed, he did leave a note for Shunsui Karako to basically become the next head captain. And so he winds up, kind of setting everything up. Basically, he had to kiss a lot of ass with Central 46 to get everything, underway, set up and stuff. And so he basically had Retsu go with Zaraki to the lowest level of the prison that Aizen was in, so that they can basically fight till their heart's content, because he was trying to make Zaraki basically break the shackles that he placed on his mind to basically unlock his full potential. And Unohana knew that if she was going to do that, she was going to die. And so now she did leave a note for Isane. And of course, Isane was, very heartbroken because she knew her captain wasn't coming back. And so during the fight between Yuha as well as Yamamoto did tell everybody to stay where they are, because they he didn't want them to get in the way, as well as somebody else getting hurt or killed. And so, of course, Isane was trying to argue with Unohana, we need to be out there. So many lives are being lost. We're getting way too many casualties. We need to be doing something. And Unohana, told her, like, no, orders were to stay here. We need to, there's nothing that we can do right now. Because if something happens to us, that's it. It's over. And so, I do also believe, because one of my favorite YouTubers, Mr. Tomo, he did state that he believes that Yamamoto knew that this day was going to come, and so he had Unohana stay in her barracks, so that when that time comes for her to do what needs to be done, she will be able to do it. And so she begins to, basically talk to Zaraki, let him know, hey, this is what the situation is, this is how we're going to do it. And so, of course, fight begins. Now, the thing is, when Unohana begins to fight, she lets her braid down. But the thing is, that presence, that ominous presence that I told y'all about a little while ago, she let that persona take over. She was no longer Retsu Unohana. She became Yachiru Unohana, her former self. And she had this very menacing look on her face. Her eyes, were squinted, and she had like this look like she was a demon. And so now, with her being a master at Kido, she basically, what she kept doing was basically killing Zaraki over and over and over again, and reviving him, and was like, okay, let's do it again. And so the fight kept continuing on to the point to where she wasn't getting where she needed to with Zaraki. So she wound up, and this kind of took me by surprise, because I wasn't expecting Kubo to go this route, that she winds up activating her Bankai. And so her Bankai is Minazuki. Now, the thing is, her Bankai is not so, well, name-wise, is not different from her Shikai, because they basically have the same name. Now, the thing is, with her Shikai, Minazuki, is like this giant Cyclops manta ray. And so the manta ray has the ability to basically, swallow you and hold you in its stomach, and basically heal you with its stomach acids. I know it sounds kind of gross, but it's like, okay, well, if that works. But Minazuki in Bankai form, though, it's like when she goes Bankai, it's like her background turns like I'll say like all black, because when I was reading the manga, it wasn't colored. So it was like an all black background, and so she was holding her sword like basically like this and whatnot, and it had like this goo that was falling off the blade. And so I can't remember who made this assumption or theory. I think it was Tekken 101, another one of my favorite YouTubers. It was either Mr. Tomo or it was Tekken that said that when it came to that goo that was falling off her blade, it had to have been blood, and basically representing the blood of the slain enemies that she fought so many years ago. And so you really don't see much of anything with her Bankai, but she continues to fight Zaraki, and ultimately he kills her, basically unlocking his all the mental barriers that he had. And right then and there, once he killed Retsu Unohana, that's when Zaraki wind up actually hearing the name of his Zanpakuto. So that was basically the entire story arc of Unohana, and she really didn't have much of a role. And I was even till this day, I'm very disappointed that she didn't have a huge or bigger role to play. And what I love about Unohana is the fact that, and I'm gonna keep stressing it, that she was loving, she was caring, she was nurturing. She did everything that needed to be done to make sure that her comrades were taken care of. And she just has this look to her. And now mind you, she has a serious mode to her. Like if there's a ruckus, she's gonna let it be known that she's there. Case in point, I believe it was members of squad, it was either squad 10 or squad 11. I think it was squad 11. It was two seat members that was in the infirmary of squad 4, and they were basically just making a commotion about the food that was being served to them. And so they made such a huge commotion that you didn't even see Unohana like walk up behind her. She didn't walk up, she didn't flash step, she was just there. And she was like, do y'all not like the food? Cause I can always do something else for y'all. And because she asked that now mind you, I paraphrase with that question, but because she asked that question very calmly, like her presence was there. So of course the seated members, they was like, no, we're good and stuff, and we're just gonna go head back. And that's what I loved about her, is that she had authority. And that's one thing that I like, when it comes to female anime characters, whether they're the female protagonist, the female antagonist, or even the side characters. I love a woman anime character that basically has authority, because you see a lot of shonen animes where the side character, or even the one of the female characters, like they basically are useless. They don't do much of anything. They're just there to help the protagonist. And so I love how her story is more fleshed out towards the end of the, or basically more like towards the ending of the beginning of the 1,000-Year Blood War arc, going into the middle. And so it's one thing that I also that I do not necessarily hate, but I did find very, very disappointing, is that her story was fleshed out more in the 1,000-Year Blood War arc, but it was basically rushed. We never got a chance to know the real Retsu Unohana. We never got a chance to know the real Retsu Unohana, even though they're one and the same. We only saw her, appear in the background, assist with what needed to be done in said arc, because that's how her character was written. And one of my hopes that when the anime comes out next year is that her story is fleshed out a whole lot more. I know that Kubo was dealing with a lot of health issues as he was basically writing the final arc. And of course, Shonen Jump was basically rushing him with his deadlines. And so because the anime is coming back, I know I'm not the only one, but I just hope that they flesh everything out a lot more in the anime. Even do a filler arc or a couple of filler episodes that will, touch on and tell that story. So those were my thoughts on Unohana. Of course the bad about her really wasn't bad. It was more disappointing, but she really was a good character. And now we also find out, because there's a YouTuber, I keep seeing his videos pop up on my recommendation. I believe his name is Shino Uehara. And so Mr. Tomo, as well as Tekking, as well as DBZ Arnhem, always recommend him. And so I do suggest that you guys give those YouTubers a look at. I'll put links in the description to their channels, as well. Also give Shino Uehara's channel a look at. But he did a couple of, I believe it was either a couple of days or maybe like a week ago, he did do a video making reference that when it came to the Hell chapter that dropped last month, we already know that Ukitake is in hell. We also know that possibly Yamamoto is in hell, but there's a theory that Unohana is in hell, and we do now believe that Unohana is, just for the simple fact of who she was as Yachiru Unohana, not Retsu. And so that's basically my spill, my thoughts, my opinions, stuff like that on one of my top 3 favorite captains. So I'm going to actually end this video here. And again, if you guys are new to my channel, thank you guys for coming out, spending a little bit of time with me. And if you guys haven't already, please do subscribe, as well as give this video a thumbs up, because it does help the video out a lot and get my channel out there. As well as you guys make sure that you hit that notification bell, because when I drop content just like this every week, you guys will be able to be the first to know. So this has been your boy Scriv. You guys stay safe, and I will see you guys next week.